Alright everyone, Shadebinders are back, bringing with them the icy wave of overpowered stasis energy, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to make the most out of your beloved Freezy boy, whether that's in the Crucible, Strikes, Gambit or anywhere else for that matter. So if you want to be a stone cold mage, you're in the right place. Stun that sub button so we can hit 46,000 subs today, freeze like 2, and let's get into it. The Shadebinder toolbox can be quite complex to master, but if you set it up in just the right way, you can quite simply overwhelm your opponents with a bunch of overpowered abilities and damage. It's actually the one Stasis subclass I've struggled to get to grips with for a long time, but this combo of fragments, weapons and exotics has definitely opened my eyes to its full endgame potential. Bungie immediately nerfed Shadebinder into the ground shortly after Beyond Light, and since the glory days of a sub 20-second super and cross-map melees, it became a bit of a lame duck. Fortunately, in the most recent patch, Shadebinders received a whole bunch of buffs compared to the Revenants and Behemoths, who got a considerable whack, making them now extremely viable as a subclass to combat their stasis foes and endgame enemies. Movement on Shadebinders is not the way to go. You simply ain't getting the same level of mobility as Hunters, Behemoths or even the Icarus dashing Warlocks, but what you do have is a very particular set of skills. Skills that you have acquired over a very long time, skills that make you a nightmare for everything in Destiny. The playstyle with the Shadebinder is a very tactical and methodical one that once mastered can absolutely dominate. So let's look at the aspects and fragments you'll need for this Shadebinder build, followed by weapon and gear loadouts before we finish off with mods to complement this setup. High impact and high damage weapons are all the rage in the current sandbox, and so we're setting up to maximise their damage output at all times and increase their overall effectiveness. Empowering Rift is first up as it gives you a great 20% buff to damage output pretty much on tap. It's really underused and often overlooked compared to the ever faithful Healing Rift, but trust me, it's definitely the way to go. Movement isn't key for Shadebinders, but you'll want to jet around from encounter to encounter, so chuck on Burst Glide. Our Penumbral Blast melee and Stasis grenades are going to be key to this build, and with the Dustfield grenades recently getting a hammering, the only real viable option for Warlocks is the Cold Snap grenades. It's still top draw in PvE as it instantly freezes enemies for a lengthy period of time, and it can stop opponents in their tracks in PvP too. It sends out Seekers on freezing targets, allowing you to freeze a large group of adds in an instant, and when combined with the Ice Flare Bolt's aspect, it'll expand this so Seekers track on defeating frozen targets too. This aspect recently got fixed, so it's now more reliable at tracking down targets. The second aspect is the Bleak Watcher. This allows you to convert your grenade into a stasis turret, firing slowing projectiles at targets. It lasts for an entire age and can be absolutely devastating when pinged into the right area, slowing, freezing and refreezing adds, all the while pairing with the Ice Flare Bolt's trackers to shut down any encounter. Whisper of Chains is a top tier fragment which was added in Season of the Chosen. It grants you a 25% damage resistance when you are near frozen targets or friendly stasis crystals, and it also provides a bonus plus 10 to your recovery stat too. Whisper of Torment is next up in order to gain grenade energy when taking damage from targets. It's not huge, but it all adds up and synergizes into this build perfectly to reduce our grenade cooldown. Lastly, Whisper of Hedrons is a must, as you'll instantly get a 25% weapon damage buff for 10 seconds when freezing a target, essentially a Rampage on tap part 2. As you'll be freezing targets consistently with your Cold Snap grenade, Ice Turret or Penumbral Blast, you should always have this buff ready, and your Empowering Rift can fill in any of the gaps. High impact, high damage weapons are perfect to pair with this Shadebinder build, as you'll just be able to chunk damage on your targets, whether it's a Dreg in Gambit or 420 no scopes in PvP. There's a ton of choice to be honest, so this is all personal choice, but for my main primary options I'm choosing between either the Messenger as an high impact pulse rifle with roles like Desperado, Kill Clip or One for All being great for increasing the damage even further, or even Igneous Hammer, the aggressive frame 120 RPM Trials hand cannon. Any role with Rampage is god tier, but One for All is always a good shout too. Cold Denial and Stars in Shadows are also perfect high impact pulse rifle options here, as are the Steady Hand and Bottom Dollar for hand cannon connoisseurs. High impact and aggressive frame special weapons are good pairings with these too. Astral Horizon, Frozen Orbit and even exotics like Izanagi's Burden or Borealis will be top for dealing out the punishment. For heavy weapons though, I'd go for a rocket launcher, especially any of the exotics like Wardcliff Coil or Deathbringer for maximum area denial and damage. All of these weapons are intrinsically very low handling wise, whether that's the painfully slow reloads or sluggish draw times, but Ophidian Aspects can change all of that, granting a near perfect quick draw and speedy reload time regardless and at all times. The Cobra Totemic perk will also increase your base melee range too. It's an incredible exotic for this Shadebinder build. It really alters the way you look at and use all the slow handling weapons at your disposal. Mods wise, I'm going to suggest a basic charge with light build at all times, with taking charge and high energy fire complementing the multiple buffs we've already got going on. Next, it's all about boosting your stats by any means possible. High recovery, resilience and intellect are a must in the current sandbox. Intellect and recovery mods are 100% key to getting your super and empowering rift cooldown as low as possible. Radiant light will also help with giving a boost to your strength stat and melee cooldown. Bomber mods on your class item will help with grenade cooldown times when casting your rift, and momentum transfer on your arms will reduce your melee cooldown when causing damage with a grenade. This build is all about being surgically precise, carving open your enemies with high damage output, using all the damage boosting potential within your icy little mitts. The snappiness offered by Ophidian Aspects paired with the Shadebinder build is definitely one of my favourites so far, as it offers a wide range of gameplay options to suit all tastes. It's great for getting crispy 2-taps in PvP, much to the disapproval of the Sweatlords, and it'll give you room clearing potential in PvE. I hope you enjoyed this quick Stasis build guide. If you did, then please subscribe to hit my goal of 46,000 subs, and let's get to 27.3 likes today. That's it for this one though, so on that and as always, thank you very much for watching and I hope to see you next time.